Okay, today we're going to learn about the next section, which is algebraic expressions, section 1-3. We are going to write algebraic expressions. Now this is super important. These are going to be a lot of keywords that you have to remember what the operations are with them. So number 1, 7 less than the number t. What does less than mean? That key word, it's less than. Less than means smaller, right? So therefore what this means is you are subtracting. However, you have to ask yourself, what are you subtracting? So 7 less than what? The number t goes in front. So this is going to be t take away 7. Because the what is larger than the negative 7, and that's what you have to make sure you have first. Super duper important on that one. Number 2, the sum of 11 and the product of 2 and a number r. The sum is a keyword. Sum means plus. Of 11 and, the and tells us what we're adding together. Product is another keyword. Product means what in multiplication, or in mathematics it means multiplication, so that's a multiplication there. Of 2 and, so what am I multiplying together? I am multiplying 2 and the number r. So what this means is I'm going to have 2r multiplying together, and then the sum is going to be plus 11. Erin has $520 and is earning. She has it. She has it in her possession. So we're going to start off with $520. And is earning. And is earning. So if she's earning it, we're going to add to her bulk of money $75 each week she babysits. So that's going to be $75 for every week she babysits, so that's going to be times W. And then this one right here is going to be, we have 50 boxes of raisins. I have them. I can physically see them, so I start off with 50. And are eating. I'm eating from them, so what's happening? Am I adding to the pile or am I taking away? I'm taking away, so that's going to be 12 boxes each month. So that's 12M. Okay? Next, evaluating algebraic expressions. This is what I call plug and chug. So if you ever see this written on your paper, PNG, that means you need to plug the value in for the variable and chug or calculate out an answer. So the expression they give you is 7 parenthesis a plus 4 close parenthesis plus 3b minus 8. And they tell you that a is negative 4 and b is 5. So I have 7 parenthesis, a is negative 4 plus 4 plus 3, b is 5 minus 8. So now this is an order of operations problem. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. 7 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15 minus 8. This 0 doesn't matter, so 15 take away 8 is 7. Next, same exact concept. I have x over 2 plus y squared, but this time x is 1, so I have 1/2 plus, and y is 1/2. So this is 1/2 quantity squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down this 1/2 quantity squared. I'm going to write that down 2 times. So this is going to be 1/2 plus 1/2 times 1/2. So marry the tops and marry the bottoms. That's going to give me 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. So think money. Half of a dollar is 50 cents. A fourth of a dollar is going to be 25 cents. And this is going to be 75, which is going to be 3/4. So notice how we didn't use a calculator and we thought outside the box for that problem? Okay, next, like terms. We talked about like terms whenever we did equations. So like terms whenever we talked about equations were terms with exactly the same letter and exactly the same exponents. Okay, those are like terms. So what we're going to do first is we're going to simply distribute this negative. So this is going to be negative 3k minus m plus, distribute this, 2k minus 8m. Then we're going to look for like terms. Negative 3 kangaroos plus 2 kangaroos. That is going to give us negative k. Then I'm going to have negative m minus 8m. And that is going to give us minus 9m. Those are not like terms. You cannot combine them, so that problem is done. Simplify each of the following expressions in the lowest possible terms. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to work this problem from left to right. So the very first thing I see are brackets. Brackets are your mama bear parentheses. You do your brackets first, so I drop everything down in front of them. Do I need the parenthesis around this negative 3y? I'm not multiplying anything into it, so it's just there to indicate that it is a negative value. So you simply drop those parentheses. It's not necessary. Plus, over here, this is the distributive property on the right-hand side. So we're going to distribute that. So that's going to be positive 10y minus 2xy. Okay, so next, we're going to go ahead and distribute the negative into the bracket. Negative 4x plus 3y, and drop down everything else after the bracket. And now you're going to look for like terms. Do I have any like term to x? Are there any more x's? They are not, so I simply drop it down. Do I have any y's? So here's a y, and here's a single y. So now what is 3 yo-yos plus 10 yo-yos? That's going to give me 13y. And lastly, this right here is a single term all by itself, so I simply drop it down. This is simplified completely. Okay. Next, this one's even more difficult. Okay, so we're going to go through and we're going to eliminate any unnecessary parentheses that we don't need. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to ask ourselves, are we multiplying anything into that parenthesis that we need it? So the very first thing I see are brackets, so I keep the negative on the outside and the negative 2 drops down. The parentheses right here, do I need to keep the parentheses around the k minus 5m? The answer to that is yes, because the negative 2 is attached by multiplication, so that means I just need to keep those parentheses. Do I need to keep the parentheses around the negative 3k? There's nothing being multiplied into it on the left, but it does go multiply into it onto the right. So I don't need these parentheses, but I do need the second set of parentheses. And then I have the negative 4x, which you are going to keep that there because if not, this is attached by multiplication, and if you drop it, you're going to think you're attaching it by subtraction. So you need to keep that multiplication sign there. So now we're going to go ahead and keep working on the inside out. So distribute negative 2k plus 10m minus 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1 to give me a negative 42 km. Negative 3 times negative 9 is positive 27k, parenthesis negative 4x. So now we're going to go ahead and combine like terms inside my bracket. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, do I have any k's? There's a k and there's a k. So that means I drop down the negative. Negative 2k and 27k give me a 25k. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for m's. This is my only single m, so I'm going to go ahead and drop that down. Then I'm going to go ahead, and this is my last km term, so I drop that down. What's a double negative right here? A double negative right here creates a positive, which that should have just been right here. So sorry, that should be a plus sign right there. So that should be negative 42 km from the beginning. I did not copy that down previously, sorry. Negative 4x. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and distribute the negative 4x. So I have bracket there with a negative. So that's going to be a negative 25kx minus 40mx. Keep your terms in alphabetical order. K is before x and m is before x. And then plus 168 kmx. Close that bracket. And then the next step is distribute the negative 25kx plus 40mx minus 168kmx. This is your final answer. That's a big problem, guys. Super big problem. And I encourage you guys to look at your homework because some of your notes may have some of your homework problems in them. Here we go. Big one here. This is a big one. So we're going to take it one step at a time. So if I look right here, do I need those parentheses? Is anything being distributed into it? And the answer to that is no, so I'm going to simply drop them. Minus, bracket. Do I need this parenthesis? You said no, you're right, we do not need them, so I drop that. Do I need this parenthesis? Nothing's being multiplied into it, so I can drop it. And then I bring down the 4m squared. So I'm going to drop down everything before the bracket. So negative 3m squared plus 6n squared minus 4n minus, and I drop everything down. Now, I need to look for like terms. Do I have any m squareds? 6m squared and negative 6m squared. Do you know what happens to those? Those cancel out and they no longer exist. Do I have any m's? The answer to that is no, I don't, so I drop that down. Do I have any n's? Not n's to the first, I have an n squared, so I just drop that down as well. Do I have any n squareds? And the answer to that is no, I do not, so I drop that down. So there are no like terms inside the bracket now. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop everything down on the left-hand side before the bracket, and I'm going to distribute the negative. A double negative creates a positive 4m minus 6n minus 4n squared. And then I'm going to combine like terms. I do not have any more m squared, so I'm simply going to drop it down. Do I have any more n squareds? There's an n squared, and here's an n squared. So that is going to give me 6 take away 4 is going to be a plus 2n squared. Next, do I have any plain n's? I do. That is going to give me a negative 10n. And then I drop down the m, and this is your final answer. So tonight's homework is going to be Chapter 1-3, Algebraic Expressions, Worksheet 1. If you have any questions, please ask me.